And here we go again. We've got a DCN680, a DeWalt 18 gauge brad nailer that is not shooting quite right. This one shoots one nail and then nothing else. So it's time to investigate and figure out what's going on. Now, first thing that I notice is there's a big chunk missing out of the magazine on the front. So the way I was looking at this, I thought maybe the nails are tipping over on the second shot and not loading, or the striker is not able to hit them right. So first thing that I wanted to do, I put it on one slot back and tested it again, and the results were the same. So that was not it. So decided to go a little deeper. As soon as I took the latch off, I noticed something odd. And if you've ever used any of these guns, you know that as soon as you pop the latch, the nails will fly out. In this case, they were just sticking there. Now, that tells me that there's something happening with the spring-loaded mechanism on the inside of the magazine. It's kind of working. It's just not pushing when everything's already loaded. So, it's moving the nails up when you load it, and that's probably why it's shooting one nail. But when you try to do it again, and if you're holding it, it will just stay right there. So my thought was maybe the springs are not working right. So I looked on the back. The springs, they seen better days, but they were still in one piece. I didn't see any problems there. They were not broken or anything like that. So, I wanted to take it apart, but there's a screw right underneath here, right underneath the plastic. So in order to get to that, to actually see what's inside the magazine, you got to take the whole thing apart. Now, there's nothing complicated here. It's just a bunch of Torx screws with a slot for a flathead screwdriver. So you just got to go around, take them apart, and then there is one other Allen bolt at the bottom holding the magazine. But once you're done with that, the only thing you want to make sure is that you take the cover off really nice and slow, because there are some buttons and springs in there that might pop out. So just, like I said, take your time, make sure you take it nice and slowly, you don't lose any pieces. Once you're done here, there's a cover right here, and you could take this bolt out now, or you can wait until the magazine is out of the gun. It's neither here nor there. There are 3 screws holding the magazine to the body of the gun. 2 are on the front. The third one is on the back side, and you have to take the body out of the plastic. So this is another spot where you want to be extra careful so you don't lose any pieces. Now, once you take that out, the magazine is still stuck to the body of the nail gun, because it actually has 2 indexing pins that allow it to make sure it goes in the right spot when you replace it. So, you kind of got to jiggle it a little bit to get it out slowly. And then that's pretty much it. Just take your time and then yank it out. And now it was time for me to take it apart. Now, the first thing that I noticed is that it was very hard to pull apart. So it's more than likely something is in there. And as soon as I got right here, I noticed that there was something stuck underneath the loading plate. And it looks like there were some nails on the wrong side of that. So let's see. Pull them out, and I thought maybe they were mine, but they were actually not the ones I was using. They were longer, which makes me suspect that what happened is when this gun was dropped, that impact caused those nails to basically tip underneath the loading plate, and they've been stuck in there ever since. And that is the reason why this was not loading properly. Now, at this point, that is still a supposition, but I did buy the replacement part for the magazine. It just comes with the plastic, nothing else. So you got to scavenge the pins and all these other parts. So you want to take the pins out. They're kind of a pain. But, if you take your time, you can extract them, and then you're going to have to put them back in there. This is probably the right time to use a brass hammer. Couldn't find mine for the life of me, so I had one of these old school Harbor Freight plastic ones, so it seemed to do the job. Probably could have used a few more wax, but it seemed to work. It seemed to go in there. And you can't really ask much more from a $4 hammer. After the pins go in there, don't forget to put the last piece back in there. Now once you're done with it, it's time to put the magazine back together. The easiest way to do it is to just put the 2 pieces and then add the locking piece. after that. It's a lot easier to do it that way. And put your screw back in here to hold them all together, and the magazine is pretty much ready to be reinstalled, unless you got the stickers, or you decide to take them off the old one and put them on. I don't know how that works. You can see right here the loading seems to be fine. There's no more problem, and you can tell when you compress it, if you let it go, it will do exactly what you expect and pop out. That makes me believe that we got it all straightened out at this point. As far as putting it back together, I'm not going to bore you with that because it's pretty self-explanatory. Testing it out, I was able to shoot 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one bent, but I suspect it has to do more with that knot in that corner than anything else. I was kind of running low on nails, so I'm going to have to run some more tests to see if there's anything else going on. But at first glance, I suspect it is fixed, and the whole problem were those nails stuck underneath the loading plate. I hope this helps. Have a good one.